Are you ready for the best in Sooner football recruiting news? Then it's time to get locked in with Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Whether you're a recruiting doomer or sunshine pumper, text the guys on the First Liberty Bank text line at 405-651-3439. And call your shot on the Riverwind Casino jackpot line at 405-329-9000.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
Here we go now. Grayson, man, you missed out on quite an entertaining 1 o'clock hour. I need to ask you, though.
Okay.
Need to ask you to weigh in here. What was your most traumatizing childhood experience that is air appropriate?
My most traumatizing childhood experience. I got chased by my neighbor's pit bull.
Oh, hello. That's terrifying. Yep. I can see how that would be traumatizing.
I'll tell you what. No, I'll tell you what.
You did not mess around with the pit bull, brother.
No, as a matter of fact, I'll give you I'll give you a better one. So, you know, sometimes when you're like trying to play baseball or play football in the backyard, right?
Yeah.
And you hit it over into your neighbor's fence, right?
Oh, we've all been
or
there.
into the backyard. So I punted a football into our neighbor's backyard.
Tracking.
Unbeknownst to me, they had a pit bull. So it's, 11:30 in the morning. Expect the neighbors to be at work.
Uh-huh.
So like, you know what? Let me hop this fence, go get my ball back, and
As one does.
and then I'll return over. No harm, no foul.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that pit bull, I don't know, man. That pit bull was in the house, and as soon as I hit the ground, shoo! I was like, oh, and I had to scramble back over to that fence so fast. So I did have a halfway irrational fear of dogs for a fat minute.
That'll do it, man.
Also, to go along with my irrational fear of being underwater.
That will do it. Pit bulls are terrifying creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Terrifying creatures.
Oh, yeah.
Especially the ones who are, and there are some that aren't like outwardly territorial, but the ones that are especially terrifying.
Yep.
It sounds like that fell in that category.
Yes.
The experience that I would cite from my childhood is, and by the way, this is just, my dad and mom, God bless them, they did a lot of things right raising me, but I was a first child, and you make all of your parenting mistakes on the first child for the most part.
Why do you think I am as I am?
Uh-huh. And so when I was 4 years old, mind you, my dad and my uncle decided that they were going to teach me to rollerblade. And the method by which they decided to teach me to rollerblade involved hitching a rope to the back of my uncle's car and pulling me through the streets on rollerblades. Folks, if you want to teach your kids to rollerblade, that is not how you do it. That is not how you do it. Later on, years later, like all my younger siblings got into roller skating, rollerblading. They all loved it. Not me, man. I was out.
Oh, so you never learned?
I mean, I did. I'm trying to think. I've been at, like, as a child, occasionally somebody will have like a birthday party at a skating rink or something like that. And so I've been back on skates enough times that like I know how to do it, but I don't enjoy it, right? It's like it's almost like it's the same sensation you get when you're presented with a food that you really don't like. It's just you're turned off by it. And that's me when it comes to rollerblading. Like, I have no expressed desire to rollerblade.
This is why, when you're talking about food, this is why I don't trust my mom when she makes anything with brown rice anymore.
Yeah.
Because there was one point where I didn't know quinoa existed. And my mom told me she had made something, with a rice base. And it was a mixture of quinoa and cauliflower instead. I have not eaten quinoa to this day.
Interesting.
And I was 14.
I don't mind quinoa. Cauliflower, on the other hand, I find that stuff nasty.
I hate quinoa.
405-651-3439 is the First Liberty Bank text line. You want to talk ball or share your traumatizing childhood experiences with us? By all means, do so. Feel free to chime in. Text like a champion via the First Liberty Bank text line, where you can also Bank like a champion. The show is brought to you today and every day by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno, family-owned and operated. If you're in the market for a new vehicle as summer draws near, why not a GMC? GMC offers some of the most reliable trucks and SUVs on the road today, and you're going to get fantastic service from Dorsey Jones as well, including half-price oil changes on Saturdays. Right off the bat, we're starting hot here because I guess people are building their expectations up, man. A listener in the 707, where is that area code? California, okay. A listener in California says, over or under 2 commits after this weekend. And I'll be frank, there's nobody that I think is like actively, obviously on commit watch going into the weekend. But it's going to be a good opportunity for Oklahoma to make some strong impressions upon some really talented football players, including Uhila Wolfgram.
Yeah.
The 3-star edge from the state of Utah that we talked about quite a bit last week. Very recent offer. The Sooners are working their way into good position there, even though UCLA and Michigan are 2 schools that have really stood out as of late and have a jump start relationally on Oklahoma in Wolfgram's recruitment. I thought this was very interesting, though, Grayson. Steve Wiltfong, the Godfather at Rivals.com, reported earlier today that Oklahoma is going to host a 4-star safety this weekend at the spring game. Yes, they're hosting Jalen Scott, who is committed. That's not the 4-star safety I'm specifically referencing here. And no, I'm not talking about Bodie Sparrow either, who continues to trend very solidly in the direction of winding up in Oklahoma's class. The safety that they're hosting does not yet hold an offer from Oklahoma, but, brother, this is an offer I've been waiting on for a long, long, long time. And I'm talking about Cooper Onmacht, the 4-star. I think he's actually technically classified as an athlete, 4-star athlete out of Great Bend, Kansas. And look, part of the job, part of my day-to-day is just maintaining constant communication with many of the people close to within the program whose opinions hold a lot of weight in the evaluation department. And, you know, I'm an outsider, obviously, and these people on the inside get paid a whole heck of a lot more money than I do, and thus their opinions matter a whole heck of a lot more than mine does, especially because they have direct input as opposed to just sounding board. But man, I've been banging the drum behind the scenes for Cooper Onmacht for a really, really long time. I really like his tape. I think this is a surefire offer take for Oklahoma. If it's me making the calls, obviously it's not. And he doesn't have an offer as we stand here today, but I am really, really encouraged by the fact that Oklahoma is bringing him in for a visit this weekend, because we've talked a lot about the potential for a 3rd safety in Oklahoma's class. Who's that going to be? Not Samaj Stanford.
Yeah.
Not Caleb Dillard. Not Pole Moala, whom Oklahoma was very quietly making a push for, but who committed to UCLA over the weekend. So you got Jalen Scott on board. You got Bodie Sparrow, who looks like he's going to be on board. Could Cooper Onmacht be the 3rd if the Sooners toss an offer his way this weekend? So that's one that I'm going to be watching closely.
Yeah, and you should. I mean, if you can get 3 4-star safeties in one class, you've done a hell of a job if you're Brandon Hall in terms of the 2027 cycle. But, man, Cooper Onmacht. Oh, my bad. Onmacht.
I think. I think that's how you pronounce it. That's
my
my best guess.
That's a lot closer to the spelling than what I just concocted. Anyway, boy, I liked his tape. I liked his tape a lot. He fits with what Oklahoma safeties have looked like in recent years. When you look at RSJ, when you look at Peyton Bowen, when you project what you're going to see with Michael Boganowski, guy that can be a headhunter, but also is very intellectually savvy in terms of football. Reads the quarterback very well, tracks the ball extremely well. Looks like a dude that belongs on a Power 4 field because he just looks so much better than everybody else. Now, this kid, to me, this is my opinion, this is not Gideon Gash.
No, it's not.
This is not Gideon Gash. I think Gideon Gash is better. But if you're taking a third safety, I don't think it needs to be Gideon Gash. If you're taking a third guy, if you already have Jalen Scott, and if you already have Bodie Sparrow, and if you can get this kid from Kansas, Ohnmacht, on board, I think that's a hell of a safety haul. Would you take Gideon Gash? I mean, I guess, because, I mean, he's that good, but you don't need him if you already are too deep with 4-star safeties, and you could potentially take a third. So the calculus adds up for Oklahoma with this kid.
It's interesting that Oklahoma's just now getting involved with this kid because he's less than a week removed from dropping a top 6. And he's booked a few official visits thus far, but let me read you his top 6. Vanderbilt, Wisconsin, Kansas, Minnesota, Kansas State, Penn State. Now, Penn State is the school that is considered the leader, and with good reason. Matt Campbell and Iowa State, I do believe, gave him his very first offer. They have been on this kid a long, long time. And they're having a lot of success. Penn State is recruiting all the kids that Matt Campbell and his staff developed relationships with while at Iowa State. For instance, over the weekend, they picked up a commitment from a blue-chip linebacker out of Shakopee, Minnesota, Blake Benton.
Yep.
They picked up a commitment from a blue-chip tight end out of Pierre, South Dakota, Cooper Terwilliger. And so it stands to reason, I would say, that they are the team to beat in Ohnmacht's recruitment. And so you're going to have to overcome that. But those other 5 schools that I referenced, I think those are 5 schools that if you're the University of Oklahoma, you'll take your chances going up against. So if the Sooners do choose to get involved here with an offer, and there was a listener in Kansas that said OU's not even on his 24/7 list, yeah, they're not on the list because they haven't offered yet. But if they do choose to offer, it seems pretty apparent that they would get an OV at minimum.
I would think so. What do you think has taken them so long to get involved with the kid?
I think just the fact that they've been on other guys, which, I can't fault them
No,
for. Like, Bodie Sparrow's really good.
Yeah.
Jalen
That makes
Scott's
a lot of
really good.
sense.
Pole Moala's really good. Gideon Gash is really good. And there have been others. This is a small-town kid. And so I think the lingering question with a guy like this will be how long does it take for his game to translate at the next level?
Yeah.
It's always a bit of a gamble when you're dealing with small school, small-town kids. Now, he's not the only big-time guy that's come out of Great Bend because Great Bend did have a guy that wound up, I believe, being a 5-star tight end last cycle, Ian Premer, who wound up signing with Notre Dame.
Uh-huh.
So Great Bend has had it going on recently. Those aren't the only 2 guys either that have gone and played football on scholarship somewhere, but Ian Premer was the biggest name that came out of Great Bend in recent memory, and Cooper Ohnmacht is right there in that conversation. I like him a lot. I think if Oklahoma wants to make him a priority as their third safety, I would have no qualms with that. I don't think anyone would. And I don't think that this has any impact. Whether or not they offered, that would not have any impact on Oklahoma's continued pursuit of Gideon Gash because they are recruiting Gideon Gash as, and I'm not sure whether any school recruits anybody as a pure athlete anymore these days. Like, you have some idea of what the guy's going to be, but they foresee a bunch of different plausible paths to playing time for Gideon Gash. They want him on the defensive side of the ball, but he could play corner, he could play safety. I think the most realistic outcome is he winds up playing primarily cheetah.
Exactly.
So there's room for Gash no matter what in this class. That's a guy that will always have the green light. But the asterisk there that you have to continue to be mindful of is the fact that he has 2 older brothers at Michigan State. So
correct.
It's going to be a tough pull.
I will say this one thing about Ohnmacht being from a small town, though. And I think the concern of small-town kids is true. But look at how he's looking against his opponents. He looks head and shoulders athletically superior than everybody else when you watch him on tape. So if you want any solace that if Oklahoma takes this kid, it's not going to be, small-town kid that can't really play high-level football. This dude pops off the screen and looks like he belongs on a totally different field than what he's with right now.
And by the way, if it wasn't clear from the name, yes, he is a gym rat, coach on the field, first one in, last one out type of guy.
You want to know? You know what's
athletic.
Funny? You know it's funny because the last safety you sent me to watch was Gideon Gash.
Really?
And his first Ohnmacht's first his first play on the tape is him running a go route.
Mm-hmm.
And my first thought to me was, where does Oklahoma keep finding all these fast as hell white kids?
What about 2 premium crackers in the same safety class? Sparrow and Onmacht? I mean, the possibility exists.
Iowa 2.0.
How about it, man? And if we know one thing about Iowa, I'm not saying there's a direct correlation there because it's certainly not the only thing that's made Iowa good over the years, but Iowa's a dang good defensive program, man. And they're the one school that has managed to put white cornerbacks in the league.
Yeah.
Because they got 2 of them right now, right? Riley Moss and Cooper DeJean.
They also got all those white tight ends, too.
Yes, they do.
Which, look at Oklahoma's room.
Mm-hmm. Listener in Kansas says, Great Bend is consistently talented in both football and basketball. Cooper looks like he needs to put on some weight. Again.
6 foot, about 180 pounds?
Not something that concerns me. With anybody that gets in the building at Oklahoma, because the Sooners can put weight on guys. And I can't recall whether I was doing the show with you last week or with Parker Lane when I played the clip from Rocky Beers talking about all the various
food and stuff?
Yeah,
that was with me.
The nutrition program and all the food that's immediately accessible to these guys basically all throughout the day. Like, you're not going to struggle to put on weight if you get to Oklahoma. Take, for example, Tank Carrington, who's up to like 295 right now after being 272 when he committed to OU last July, August. So, yeah, if Cooper Onmacht has to throw on 10, 15 pounds when he gets to Oklahoma, he'll be able to do that.
Yeah.
The big question, though, is, A, is OU actually going to offer, which I don't know why else you bring in a blue chipper for a spring game visit.
Which was going to be my thought, too.
And honestly, they may have already offered. I'm going to follow up and get more insight on that because not every kid posts all of their offers, at least not immediately. But they're bringing him in for the spring game. That shows at the very least a high level of intrigue with the kid. And then if Oklahoma does get involved, man, can you overcome Matt Campbell in Penn State? Kind of crazy that we're having that exact same conversation about 2 kids that are in a 4-hour radius from Oklahoma and 1,000+ miles from Happy Valley.
Yeah.
Because Case Alexander is obviously in the same boat, too. 405-651-3439. That is the First Liberty Bank text line. The Sooners continue to trend well for another edition in the 2027 cycle, and a commitment date is on the schedule. Let's discuss on the other side. This is The Ref, the home of Sooner fans.
Locked In is brought to you every day by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno. Dorsey Jones GMC is family-owned and operated with a knowledgeable, low-pressure sales staff here to help you through the buying process and half-price oil changes on Saturdays. Visit dorsey-jonesgmc.com for more information.
For the professional, it's not enough to just possess knowledge. That's why at GMC, we seek to refine it, to wield its power, to redefine its boundaries, while pushing the limits. And we put this knowledge to the test in every GMC Sierra by engineering each one to outperform your expectations. So you know you're getting precision and durability when you need it most. And that's what makes the GMC Sierra the truck worth knowing. We are professional grade. See your Oklahoma GMC dealers.
Hey, it's Tyler McComas with The Rush. Catch us every day from 3 to 6 p.m. Nobody covers Sooner football like we do, and the best way to stay tuned into the home of Sooner fans, no matter where you are, is with the KREF app presented by Warren Cat. Download the app from the Apple or Google Play Store and take us with you everywhere. Just search KREF in your app store and download today. The KREF app presented by Warren Cat, whatever the job, whatever it takes.
Looking for a fun and adventurous way to spend the summer? Join the Sooner Theater for an unforgettable summer camp experience. The Sooner Theater has 2-week half-day sessions for students entering kindergarten through 7th grade. Whether your child loves acting, dancing, singing, stage makeup, or more, these camps have something for everyone. With sessions in June and July, your child can explore creativity, make new friends, and have a blast performing on stage for friends and family. Don't miss out. Sign up now for a summer full of fun and adventure through the performing arts. Visit SoonerTheater.org to learn more and register today.
Hey guys, it's Dory Noka. Have you been involved in an auto accident? If so, it's time to contact the OKC Car Crash Clinic of Dr. Martin Lopez. He's a board-certified and fellowship MD with unparalleled training and experience. Dr. Lopez works with a great team of healthcare professionals and attorneys to help you achieve the best physical and financial recovery. Contact Dr. Lopez at 405-86-CRASH or at okccrash.com. Don't forget to listen every week to the Dory Noka Show for the Impact Player of the Game, brought to you by Dr. Martin Lopez. No one plans for an injury, but when the worst happens, count on the best orthopedic team to turn your setbacks into comebacks. Ortho Central's comprehensive care has you covered, from expert orthopedic surgery and sports medicine to in-house imaging, physical therapy, and even a bone health clinic. So whether it's a fracture, a tear, or just life catching up with you, we're here to get you moving again. Ortho Central, it's in our bones to take care of yours. Learn more at orthocentralok.com.
Are our love bugs and companions. They are our pets, our family, and they make life better. When we face unexpected challenges, so do our pets. That's why we're on a mission to support people and their pets. Whether donating a bag of kibble, sharing an Instagram post of a lost cat, or welcoming a foster pet into your home, every bit of kindness counts. Visit petsandpeopletogether.org to learn how to be a helper in your community. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Thanks to generous community support, Wounded Warrior Project has helped post 9/11 veterans and their families since 2003. Through no-cost physical and mental health services, legislative advocacy, career assistance, and life skill training, we're there every step of the journey.
It's possible to feel understood.
To get support when it's needed most.
And now I know anything is possible.
And we're just getting started. Learn more at woundedwarriorproject.org/possible.
Hey, have you been noticing a problem with your vehicle's transmission? You do not want to wait on that situation. You need to get it looked at now. Bring it by AMCO and let their professionals check it out for you. With their free vehicle courtesy check, they can help pinpoint the problem and then offer options for repair. And financing is available at all locations. AMCO, Norman, Midwest City, Oklahoma City, Edmond, Yukon, and Tulsa.
It's locked in here on the Ref, the home of Sooner fans, Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton, hanging with all of y'all on the First Liberty Bank text line. Text like a champion at 405-651-3439 if you want to make your voice heard. The news last night, Mr. Singleton, April 27th, which is a Monday, if I'm not mistaken.
12 days from now.
12 days from now, we will find out where three-star defensive lineman Sione Falila is going to play his college football. He announced a top 5 last night of BYU, Cal, Kansas, Arizona State, and the illustrious University of Oklahoma. And it is the illustrious University of Oklahoma that holds the edge for Falila going into that April 27th decision. This shouldn't really be news to those who are regular listeners. Oklahoma's been in good shape there for a while, and there was optimism from the Sooners side of things that they were going to accelerate the decision-making process for Falila and get him to shut it down before OV season rolls around. With the knowledge that that is now taking place, and the 6'2", 310-pound Hesperia, California native is going to lock in his decision in less than 2 weeks, it does appear as though the Sooners are poised to pick up commitment number 21 here.
Good Lord. We're up to 21 now?
This will be 21,
Woo!
if indeed
buddy.
Oklahoma lands Falila. And assuming they don't get anybody before then, obviously.
Right. No, that's impressive. That's impressive work. And, look, I like Falila. Obviously, we've talked about that. They want him to be the heir apparent to Jaden Jackson and in that type of role. I believe that's what we talked about in that vein.
Yes. Jaden Jackson, carbon copy,
yes.
in essence.
So, and you look at what Jaden Jackson has been able to do for Oklahoma's defense in terms of just being a cog up there in the middle and really setting the tone for Brent's defense. If you're able to continue a line of succession with a guy who fits that sort of archetype, you're on the right track to doing something right. So Sione Falila, welcome aboard if indeed that is where that goes.
Yeah. And by the way, when I say Jaden Jackson carbon copy, I'm not telling you that's a guy that's going to be starting as a freshman at OU. Physically, stylistically, the similarities to Jaden Jackson are very apparent. It doesn't mean he's going to be that good, although Sooner fans will no doubt be hoping for that. But this would make 3 defensive tackle commits in the 27 cycle for Oklahoma. He would jump on board alongside Devin Robertson from the state of Mississippi and Elijah Harmon from the state of California. By the way, this would mean that 5 of Oklahoma's 21 commits, almost a full quarter of the class, hails from the state of California specifically. Hello.
I mean, that's a good state to have inroads in. Like, I know Georgia has probably surpassed them and joined that ranks of Texas and Florida as the biggest football factories, but California ain't that far behind, especially if you want to go get some skill players and quarterbacks in the near future.
And, hey, every so often, you'll find one of those guys like Falila that's just a space eater on the interior of the defensive line. It's very clear why Oklahoma likes that guy, especially in conjunction with what they're already getting in Devin Robertson and Elijah Harmon. Jim in Arlington says, wait, what's his last name? And BYU is one of the schools? Good luck, OU. His last name is Falila, F-E-L-I-L-A. I'm just telling you right now, Jim in Arlington, it would surprise everybody if that kid is not a Sooner come Monday, April 27th.
I mean, you do have a good point, though.
You do. Like, yes, I understand where you're going with that, Jim in Arlington. But Oklahoma has set the tone here. He was on campus for Future Freaks. He admitted to Greg Biggins of Rivals that he almost committed at Future Freaks. And so here we are 6 weeks later. Nothing has changed, at least not measurably. The Sooners are on a very good track here with the 6'2", 310-pound Oak Hills High School product. Kyle from Sallisaw wants to know over or under 30 commits by the end of the cycle. It's an interesting question, Kyle. And I couldn't tell you right now what the answer is going to be because, and this is going to kind of feel like a cop-out to some, but genuinely, it depends. It depends upon what the front office feels is going to happen at season's end in terms of who jumps in the portal and leaves Oklahoma. And it's also going to depend upon what remains to be done after the portal window next January. Because, for instance, Oklahoma decided at the conclusion of this year's portal window that they needed another cornerback. And so what did they go and do? They grabbed LeBron Bauer as their lone signee of the February signing window. That brought them up to 25 total signees in the 26 cycle. And that was a larger class than we were anticipating for quite a while, Grayson. Oklahoma also opened up an extra linebacker spot late in the cycle for Christian Moore out of Selma, Alabama. And so everything is fluid, especially once you get around to the months of October and November, and you're starting to get a more clear, crystallized picture of what your actual roster needs are going to be after the conclusion of a given season. But I would say for right now, that 30 number is a good ballpark estimate. It could be slightly more than 30. It could be slightly less than 30. It's going to be roughly 30 in all likelihood. That's a fair number to expect.
I would go slightly under.
Yeah.
I think they end up about 28, 29.
If you made me pick, I would actually say slightly over. Because I think what they've discovered and what they've learned to this point, the front office, that is, in the year plus since they've been here, is that it is a lot cheaper to get guys out of the high school ranks than it is to get them in the portal. And you can find bargain buys in the portal, certainly. But if you can find a guy late in the cycle like a Christian Moore, or even like a Dane Bathurst, right, that's committed somewhere like, and Bathurst was committed to Duke. And you can bring him in and he's not going to break the bank. You're still going to have to pay him, obviously. He's not signing for $0, but you're going to be able to get a guy like that on the cheap and you believe in the type of player that he can become. You will be more eager to make that transaction than you will to go to the transfer portal and find a guy with 3 years of eligibility left and say 150 snaps to his name that is going to cost you $200,000. So a lot of it is economically dictated.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Pastor MC says, all I've heard you talk about today is defense. Any hot takes on any potential offensive players? Well, Pastor MC, I think the reason for that is because Oklahoma doesn't have much left to do in this 27 cycle on the offensive side of the ball. They're pretty set at wide receiver. They're open to potentially taking a fourth besides Graydon Howell, Trayvon Hall, and Damari DeJean, but it's not viewed as a clear need right now for Oklahoma, nor should it be. They have their 2 running backs.
Yep.
They have their quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
They have 1 tight end in Seneca Driver, and it's very clear who they want the second to be. That is Ben Kolar, right up the road at Norman North. And on the offensive line, they have 5 pledges already. They're trending well for a 6th in Gus Corsair. And then I think it's kind of going to be a potential heat check scenario with regard to a potential 7th. Could Oklahoma wind up swaying Brian Swanson away from that Texas lean? Or if not Swanson, could there be another tackle that they take a shot on later on in the cycle? I think Oklahoma's going to shoot for 7 on the offensive line. So right now we're looking at a world where they need to add a second tight end, and they need to add and will add 1, maybe 2 additional offensive linemen. That's it. Everything else is accounted for. Every other spot is accounted for.
Yeah, no, and when you put it like that, I haven't thought about it in those words, but when you broke it down, quarterback check, running back check, wide receiver, tight end, we kind of know the plan. Offensive line is curious. That's the one position that you're looking at and saying, okay, how many more do we need? And how long is it going to take Gus Corsair?
They're hopeful it doesn't take much longer, I'll say that. They're hopeful that one is wrapped up before OVs. And to my knowledge, I will follow back up with Corsair and confirm this is still the case. But to my knowledge, the only official visit that he has set right now is an official visit to Oklahoma. And that was very intentional on his part. Because from about, I would say, December or January, he has had the knowledge that Oklahoma is a very strong contender for him. He's admitted they're his leader. He's admitted how close he's been on a couple occasions to just getting it over with. But he wanted to give a bunch of other schools this spring the opportunity to do something, anything, to either change his mind or at least give him something more to think about heading into OV season. So he may end up taking another OV or 2, but the one we know he's taking is Oklahoma.
Or confirm better that Oklahoma is the place for him.
There's also that. Yeah.
Frisco Sooner on the First Liberty Bank text line. I agree, guys. Not sure why California gets a bad rap for their talent in their state. Not sure if it's politics, which is incredibly stupid if that's the case. Anyway, in my opinion, it's a huge advantage to have your foot in the door in that state.
You ever seen the tweets? They're like, our offensive line plays like we got a bunch of liberals up front.
You ever
I
see
need
those
some good old Republican farm
you
boys.
ever see those tweets where it's like, I want my offensive line to be like a full cast of MAGA people?
Yes. I find the humor in
No,
those.
it's hilarious. So it's hilarious. Like, me and my buddy send these around all the time. It's like,
Honestly, Frisco Sooner, this is a very simple explanation too, but I think it's an effective one in explaining why most people in this state and in this region and within the OU fan base look at California the way they do. It's because Lincoln Riley's out there.
Or that guy too.
And also Jade Knott, yes. That didn't help things. That didn't help California's perception amongst the folks of the great state of Oklahoma.
But, I mean, when it comes to skill stuff like that, even in basketball too, California's got really skilled players. They play sports in a more finesse, entertaining type of way and displays of athleticism.
A more liberal type of way is what I hear you saying.
Hey, man, LaMelo Ball put on a show last night. That's all I got to say.
I would not know. Who does he play for these days? I don't even.
Who do you think he plays for?
Who was he playing for when I was last paying attention to the NBA? It's been a long time. The Pelicans?
No.
Oh, no, not the Pelicans. They used to be the Pelicans. The Hornets, right?
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Yes, he plays for Charlotte.
I wasn't too far off.
You're not too far off. Yes, he plays for Charlotte.
There you go. All right. what else we got here on the First Liberty Bank text line? Jamie in White House wants to know, where are we at with other running backs since we had the decommitment? Well, Micah Rhodes is a class of 2028 guy.
Right.
We haven't seen Oklahoma make any additional offers at running back in the class of 28. What I sense will happen is that the Sooners will get some potential offer guys in the 28 cycle at running back and other positions. They'll try to get a bunch of those guys to camp in June and kind of get the chance to put the stamp on those guys with their own eyes. And the ones that are good enough, they'll get the offer, and you start, operating with targeted efficiency to try and land those guys. As far as Micah Rhodes goes, we talked about him earlier in the week. He's still open to landing at Oklahoma. Oklahoma's still open to recruiting him. It's just you have to severely diminish expectations now with DeMarco Murray out of the picture. Reformed Sooner says, Parker, why do you and Steely do the hick voice referring to conservatives? Why not do a mocking and degrading liberal voice? Reformed Sooner, you clearly haven't been listening long enough, because I do. I do a soy boy liberal voice.
I was going to say, you do have a voice.
Yes. It's all a bit.
I was say they're all bit.
It's all a bit. It's nothing too serious. It plays into the social media stereotypes of the hick conservative and the soy boy liberal. None of it is overly serious. 405-651-3439 is the text line. We got a bunch more texts that we haven't hit yet that we need to get to on the other side. So keep it right here on the Ref. The home of Sooner fans. One more segment on tap next.
Do you eat, sleep, and breathe Sooner football? We do too. This is the Ref, home of Sooner fans.
A happy place comes in many colors. One that leaves you feeling refreshed. Something that gets you all fired up. Or gives you the space to chill. Whatever your color, bring happiness home with CertaPro Painters and make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Get started today at CertaPro.com. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Do you have gardening or planting projects coming up? Don't forget to call OE first to avoid hitting buried utility lines that could lead to costly repairs. OEC and OEC Fiber depend on underground cables and lines to power and connect over 100,000 homes and businesses across central Oklahoma. This vital infrastructure helps ensure we can continue providing reliable, safe service. Please keep yourself and others safe by calling OE, that's 811, before digging this spring. OEC and OEC Fiber, the power of connection.
Racing season is here at Remington Park. Giddy up and let's go racing. Thursday through Saturday with first post time at 6 p.m. Come feel the fastest fun around. Remington Park has the winning experience for everyone. Their casino is open 24 hours a day, and new members earn up to $50 of free play. Explore the excitement of the Oklahoma City casino scene with top games, dining, and entertainment options available. Remington Park Racing and Casino. Call 405-424-1000 or visit remingtonpark.com.
Looking for a reason to upgrade your car? Confidence Ford of Norman's got it. Right now, you can save a total of $14,000 on a new 2025 Ford F-150 or save $8,500 on a new 2026 Ford Explorer. Whether you need truck power or family-ready space, there's never been a better time to get behind the wheel. And when it's time for service, trust our top-rated service center and Ford-certified master technicians. Come visit us today, 825 North Interstate Drive, or visit us online, Confidence Ford of Norman, where confidence is capital.
Hey Oklahoma, this is Kellen Manick of Mitchell's Jewelry. I married into the family business. For 20 years, my in-laws have been traveling directly to the diamond rooms of Antwerp, Belgium to select stones. Now I'm headed to Antwerp for the first time, and it would be my honor to help you with a diamond upgrade, a new pair of earrings, or even the engagement ring of your dreams. Come see us at Mitchell's Jewelry at 2201 West Main Street and ask how your diamond could be free. Mitchell's Jewelry, family owned and operated for 45 years and where Oklahoma gets engaged.
Imagine a place where compassion feels effortless and comfort feels new again. That's Primrose Funeral Service, now in a beautiful new location at 3901 North Flood Avenue in Norman. You'll experience the same caring team, the same professional service, all inside a warm, modern building designed for families. For more information, call 405-321-6000 or visit DignityMemorial.com. Primrose Funeral Service, serving Oklahoma with dignity, comfort, and compassion.
Somewhere, there's a river rushing through the woods while someone rushes through their day. There's a mountain looking up at the sky while someone looks down at their phone. A trail waiting to be walked while someone waits for a latte. This world is full of somewheres waiting for someone just like you. So go see yours at 154 national forests and 20 grasslands. And to learn more, visit nationalforest.org. The National Forest Foundation. See your somewhere.
Dear hero, whoever you are, you save lives. I live with sickle cell and the pain and the issues that come along with sickle cell every day. I'm most grateful that people are willing to go out there and take their time, their blood, and give me new life. Because of you, I'm allowed to see my son grow up.
Giving equals living. Give blood. Replenish the supply. Learn more at hhs.gov/giveblood. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Oh, man. A California listener asked via the First Liberty Bank text line, 405-651-3439. They asked, will junior college recruiting ever return as somewhat of a priority? That's a fair question, and one I'm happy to discuss, but it made me think back to the last time Oklahoma landed a player out of the junior college ranks. That player, of course, was Kendall Dolby. Kendall Dolby was the last JUCO signee for Oklahoma. But here's a trivia question that I would be very surprised. I'll be very surprised if you can get this answer correct, Grayson. I bet we might just have 2 or 3 sickos on the text line that will be able to answer this question correctly. Can you name the last junior college player that was committed to Oklahoma?
I'm not going to waste anybody's time, and I'm just going to say no.
Well, let us know if you think you have the answer on the First Liberty Bank text line.
I have no idea.
This is a deep cut, man. This is a deep cut. I'm very interested to watch these responses roll in and see if anybody can hit the nail on the head. But junior college recruiting, I mean, it's probably not going to be a major point of emphasis for Oklahoma in the years. Now, what could be interesting is the way that the calendar has shifted and the fact that we no longer have a spring portal window, a post-spring portal window. It does make me wonder, could Oklahoma be prompted to go grab a JUCO guy over the summer if they start to sense that they're too shallow at one position? For instance, if Owen Heineke is not eligible this fall, if Owen Heineke does not get cleared to play football at Oklahoma, the Sooners kind of have an issue at linebacker. Not as far as the top end goes because you have Kip Lewis and Cole Sullivan. That's great, but depth is severely lacking. Taylor Himes probably done for the year, that is. Not done permanently, but he's probably not playing this year. Jacob Curry, also probably not playing this year. Marcus James, still coming off a severe shoulder injury, still practicing in a no-contact jersey. It's like Sullivan, Kip Lewis, James Nesta, those are the only 3 guys you feel like you can count on. And
even Nesta himself is unproven in that role.
Yeah, and I'm not saying you'd be able to find a guy in the JUCO ranks that is able to jump in to the mix right away and is good enough to actually make a dent right away. But if you have to address depth, I mean, you will go to certain measures to ensure that is taken care of. And there are only so many measures to which you can go. There are only so many avenues to be explored. Like, for instance, Texas tomorrow is, I guess, hosting a transfer linebacker that's been floating in the portal vortex since December.
Oh,
From
man.
Michigan State. He, took OVs to UNLV and Akron, I think, and didn't wind up signing with either of those schools. And so he's basically just one of the leftovers at this point, and that's what you wind up with.
Unless you hit the JUCO ranks.
Unless you hit the JUCO ranks. Oh, my goodness. Well done, Chris from Knoxville. MVP of the day. Chris from Knoxville is the only one that has come up with the correct answer. I figured we would get this answer from Locked In Sooner, the dude that went to Illinois. You're thinking of Lane Jenkins, who was committed to Oklahoma for 6 days before flipping to Illinois back in the spring of 2023. But Chris from Knoxville was correct. The last junior college player that was committed to Oklahoma was a darn near 400-pound defensive tackle the name of Danny Saili, who was committed to OU in the summer and early fall of 2023 and wound up flipping to, I believe, Texas Tech and then to BYU. I have no idea where he's at now, but that was the last JUCO commit that Oklahoma held, and it was almost 3 years ago. Danny Saili. Brady from Kansas asked, what was Jacob Curry's injury? It's a knee injury, and it's one that, like I said, is more than likely going to prevent him from seeing the field at all this fall, which is unfortunate, but he's a true freshman. If something like this had to happen, you're glad that at the very least it happened right at the beginning so he can make a full rehab. He retains a full 4 years of eligibility, and by the time next fall rolls around, he will be darn near 18 months removed from the initial injury, so he'll have a lot of time to work back at his own pace. It is unfortunate, though, because he was a guy that was tracking to at least make an impact on special teams this year. I'm not sure how much he would have played on defense for Oklahoma because he also needs to add mass. He's only about 208 pounds right now, but he was probably going to play some special teams at the bare minimum. Man, just sifting through all these responses, and again, Chris from Knoxville was the only one who got it right, but these are some real blasts from the past. Isaiah Coe, Damian Williams, Perion Winfrey. You guys got creative with some of these answers, but Danny Saili was the only correct one.
A texter in the 918. Why aren't we in on local guys like Samaj Stanford and Caleb Dillard?
Yeah, so we've talked about this, and I don't mind going back there to discuss a little bit further because we're expecting a decision next week from Samaj Stanford between Texas, Georgia, and Oregon. As I've said before, your first guess is probably correct as far as the dynamics of that recruitment go. And Caleb Dillard just wants to get out of the Sooner State, which is fine, and that's understandable. I mean, you live one place your entire life. You live in one state your entire life. You want to see something different. I can't fault a kid for feeling that way. And so he's going to OV to Florida, to Georgia, I think to Oregon as well. Texas is involved. I know that sucks to hear. But he's getting out of state lines. He's getting out of the state of Oklahoma. And if that's what you want to do, more power to you. It's nothing personal against Oklahoma or Oklahoma State, for that matter, who has been involved in the Dillard recruitment as well. But he just wants something a little bit different.
Where do you think Samaj Stanford goes?
I mean, that is a recruitment that could swing in the last 24, 48 hours. It absolutely could. It's one of those processes, but if you ask me right now where he commits next week, I would actually say Texas.
So Texas is potentially bringing in a haul of defensive backs in 2027. Because I asked you about Montre Jackson, 4-star guy from Lakeview Centennial.
Yes,
in
I
Garland,
think he
Texas.
winds up a Horn.
Where do you think they stand? And I guess we can turn this into an OU question too, with Trenton Blaylock. Where do either of those programs stand?
I don't think Trenton Blaylock winds up at Texas. He's due in town this weekend for the spring game. So we'll see. We'll see what happens between OU and Trenton Blaylock. But as I have said before, I think that's a guy you just go ahead and lock down, take him, and get it over with. Because I don't know whether you can hope to land both Gabe Osborne and Juju Johnson to round out that cornerback room, especially because of how much they're each going to cost. So I like the idea of just locking in a guy like Blaylock that's probably better than the price point. There are some apprehensions about past injuries and just his overall profile compared to Osborne and Johnson. I get that, but I still think that's a guy that's more than good enough to play at OU, and especially based on what you would pay for him versus what you're going to have to pay for Osborne and Johnson. I think you just make a spot in the class for that guy. But again, that is just me. There are people who make far more money than I do to levy their opinions, and those opinions matter a whole lot more in the grand scheme than mine does. Gator says he wants to go out of state lines. He's got warrants. I don't think so.
Oh, man.
But I got distracted. What were we talking about? Dillard, Stanford. Oh, yeah, Texas's defensive back recruiting. Man, like, we're getting to that point where Texas starts to make serious noise. For instance, saw the news today via a couple of my colleagues over at Rivals that they're heating up in a hurry and potentially on track to get an official visit from Monshun Sales, the 5-star wide receiver from the upper Midwest who has been down to a top 4 of, I believe, Ohio State, Indiana, Alabama, and Notre Dame, if I am not mistaken. So every so often, Texas likes to flex just like that. Remind everybody, hey, we're Texas. They did this with Ryan Wingo. Ryan Wingo was a Missouri Tiger.
Yes.
He was, like, for months and months, it was clear. This guy is a Missouri Tiger. And, oh, by the way, that was in the immediate aftermath of the Williams-Winery recruitment, where it became clear to everybody that Mizzou has a ton of money, and they'll spend it to land top talent, especially within their own state lines. And Texas came along, and I haven't seen the contracts. I don't know what the exact number was. But the numbers that were mentioned to me, the numbers that were cited to me by sources close to that recruitment that I would consider credible on the matter, indicated that Texas spent a truly bonkers amount of money to land that kid. And it happens. It happens on a pretty regular basis. I would say once or twice a year. Texas just kind of comes out of nowhere and flexes to go and get a big-time guy. They did this with Justice Terry as well. That might have been – no, that was one cycle behind. That was the 2025 cycle. Mm-hmm. But a kid who freely acknowledged the day that he signed, he said, yeah, Texas just made me the best offer. So I went to Texas. So are they going to do that with Monshun Sales here in the 2027 cycle? Maybe. That might not be the only guy of the 5-star persuasion that Texas decides, all right, we're just going to go get him.
What did you make of Rivals' industry rankings? I know they tweeted them out, an updated industry ranking. A&M with the number 1 class, Tech with the number 2 class, Oklahoma slightly above Ohio State for the number 3 class.
Yeah, I mean, that'll get itself worked out in time. Per 24/7, Oklahoma still has the number 1 class because 24/7's equation maintains a little bit more balance between quality and quantity. So Texas A&M did jump Oklahoma today. Texas Tech did jump Oklahoma today. That was also due to the fact that they got the 5-star edge Anthony Sweeney from Baltimore a couple days ago. So OU's not going anywhere, though. I mean, they'll continue to swap spots, I would say, with every tweak of the rankings over the next few months, with A&M and Tech, and maybe Ohio State is another school that gets in the mix there in the absolute top tier. But I don't know that there will come a day throughout the remainder of the entire cycle that Oklahoma drops out of the top 5. Like, that's about the bottom. And it'll all write itself out in time as all of these schools start to compile classes that are roughly equivalent in terms of the quantity of signees that they're bringing in. Chris from Knoxville says the only reason I remember Danny Saili was because he was coming from a Kansas junior college, which is fitting since BV played at a Kansas junior college and then for Bill Snyder. Yeah. Junior college ranks in the state of Kansas, pretty solid.
Not just in football either.
Mm-hmm.
They got some baseball talent up there.
They got talent in every sport up in Kansas. Like, I don't know why Kansas seems to be the JUCO capital of the country, but that's what it is, man.
I mean, no offense to anybody from Kansas, but, like, outside of a certain part of the state, there ain't really much of anything.
This is true.
Except in, like, Topeka, Wichita, and the Kansas City area.
Things get sparse out there in western Kansas in particular. But, hey, every so often, get something that's worth the show. Garden City Community. You ever been to Garden City, Kansas?
No.
Ugh.
What's so bad about there?
It smells gross. The entire town smells like a feedlot.
Like compost or something like that?
Well, just like cows. But Garden City Community College, really, really good JUCO program.
Yeah.
And there are several that fit that bill in the state of Kansas. El Dorado, Butler. Yeah. I mean, if Oklahoma ever needs to backfill in the future with guys that are at the very least experienced in college football, we could open back up the JUCO pipeline. It's not an impossibility, and it would probably start in the state of Kansas, the state that Brent Venables does know quite well. All right, folks. That's all for this Wednesday. Locked In is a wrap. For Grayson Singleton, I am Parker Thune. We're going to do it all again tomorrow. Same time, same place, right here on The Ref, the home of Sooner fans. The Rush is next.